This video was supposed to have been produced roughly around 2 weeks ago. And those of you who have watched David Carroll's video on reparations, or the downfall of reparations, have been made aware that I was going to come back and do the second half of that video. Excuse me. Now, due to time constraints, and this has been a consistent track record with me since mid-2016, I do not have the availability to produce videos as often as I would like to. We know I started producing videos in 2011, and I believe I had a consistent schedule of producing videos maybe once a week or twice a week, certain cases 3 times a week. 2013 all the way up into 2015, we know I was on a roll with producing videos. I was producing hard-hitting content every chance I got. 2016, the beginning of 2016, I still continued to produce that content, but it did come to a standstill toward mid-2016, and that was during the shift of my career. So I've given myself, and I've mentioned this before, that I've given myself a minimum requirement to produce a video, at least one video, once a month. Now, I actually had planned on producing this video maybe the following day after David Carroll produced his, but now we're going on 2 weeks or more. And I figured last weekend that I would actually go ahead and take a walk, since I hadn't had much time to do much of anything. I would take a walk and produce this audio recording before actually publishing it in video formation. And I decided to walk to various different black communities. This is on Saturday evening. And I actually produced the recording, and I quickly scrapped it shortly after producing it, because I had gotten so frustrated as I was walking through various different black communities, just trying to produce the recording in itself was a battle. And had I produced it, it would not have been a good one at that. So I just scrapped it. Because what I had noticed when I had walked through these various different black communities, what I had seen were Negroes on damn near every other block, out having cookouts, barbecues, playing loud music. This is what actually took place. Standing around outside getting drunk, getting high, smoking weed, whatever the fuck they do. Standing on street corners, sitting in front of apartment buildings or private houses, or in certain cases, hooking up a loudspeaker outside their apartment window and simply blasting music just for the hell of it. In the areas that I walked through where I could remotely get a little peace and quiet and record the video, what I had were Negroes who were either riding around on their bikes, making all kinds of noise on these motorcycles, or driving around in their piece of shit beat up hoopties, hooked up with these loud muffler systems and subwoofers in the back. This is what I've encountered. And I sat back and I said, well, I'll be damned. Because not even 3 years ago, these Negroes were running around talking about Black Lives Matter. And if you're running around talking about Black Lives Matter, then that means you have acknowledged that there is a threat that is facing black people. This is what it is. And if you've acknowledged that there's a threat that is facing black people, the question that I would then come back and ask you is, what have you done to prepare yourself against that threat? And when you take a look at black people collectively, and like I stated, I walked through various different black neighborhoods, and you can clearly see that these Negroes are doing absolutely nothing. These Negroes do not take anything seriously. They take life as a fucking joke. This is what it is when it comes down to these Negroes. Because these would be some of the same Negroes if I would have just simply stopped them and asked them, hey man, do you think Black Lives Matter? Is that a slogan that you support? Them to be the same ones who turn around and say, yeah, I do. I believe Black Lives Matter. So then the question once again will be, Negro, what the fuck are you doing to prepare yourself What are you doing to enable yourself? What are you doing to put yourself in any better condition than what you were 3-4 years ago? Because clearly, from what I look at, I see absolutely nothing. What I see is somebody running their damn mouth, just talking shit for the hell of it because it's trendy. This is what it is. And this is what we're truly dealing with when it comes down to these Negroes. You can't get these Negroes to come together and do nothing fucking serious. Nothing. They want to all claim pro-blackness, but when you ask them, what are your actions? What have you done? Show me some type of tangible results. They can produce absolutely nothing. So I realized, okay, I can't produce this video. I'm going to have to go home and sit down and record this when I get some free time. So now as I'm sitting down, and I'm actually glad that I waited just a little bit longer to make this video, because there's been more information that has come across my desk, and many of y'all know what I'm getting ready to talk about. But before I say that, allow me to say this. I don't produce videos as often as I'd like to, but videos do get sent my way. Okay? And I do sit back and I observe what the hell goes on. And what I have witnessed for several years now, and what I have, this actually ties into what I've recently been seeing and what's been taking place for many years. Because just a little while ago, I sat back and I watched two Negroes, one go to another man's city. Because this Negro said that if you come to my city, your face is going to get jacked up or some other stupid shit. Both of them meeting up with each other in the same city. Both of these Negroes clearly in their fucking 40s. Both of these Negroes with gray hairs in their fucking beard. Meeting up with each other to go test and see what the next person gonna do. Or since you said I can't come to your city, I'm gonna show up to your city and see what you gonna do. This is what it is. This is where black men are at in 2019, right? This is the only time y'all are willing to get tough with anybody is when it's with another black man. I mean, first of all, if I'm going to another city, I'm not going to no city to meet up with some Negro who disagrees with what I say on YouTube. I'm not wasting my time doing that shit. If I'm going to another city, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to go sightseeing. I'm going to go explore some of the railroads. I'm going to go see some of the scenic areas. That's what I'm doing. But why do I say that specifically? Because I like railroads. So yeah, you damn right, I want to go ahead and check out some of the railroads when I get to these cities. The one thing you can rest assured that I'm not doing is I'm not going to nobody's city to go meet up with somebody that I don't even fucking know. Never met. Because you simply disagree with my opinion. Now I'm going to meet up with your black ass and see whether you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That is a complete and irrelevant. It makes no fucking sense to me. It's a waste of my fucking time. I'm not doing it. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something that's to my benefit. But this is what black men are doing in 2019. I mean, the funny thing is, like I said, blacks are the same ones who are running around not even 3 years ago talking about Black Lives Matter. The funny thing is, you've seen, and this is not the first time we've seen videos like this or seen Negroes dropping documents on each other, contacting each other's employers. I mean, this is shit that black people are doing to one another. The funny thing is, when was the last time you've seen a single one of them meet up and go to a city where George Zimmerman stays to go put hands on him? When was the last time that ever happened? When was the last time a single one of these Negroes actually found out his address? Contacted his employers? When was the last time anybody's done anything to this guy? And we know this guy runs around mocking the death of Trayvon Martin every chance he gets. When was the last time you seen one of them, a single one of them, meet up in the city? What about Officer Darren Wilson, the one who shot Michael Brown? Hands up, don't shoot. I think that's when all this Black Lives Matter bullshit started. When was the last time a single one of these Negroes actually went forth and found out where he stays, contacted his employer, dropped docs on him? When was the last time y'all did any of the above? What about the officer that choked out Eric Garner? I think his name is Daniel Pentalino. When was the last time? I mean, I think he lives right here in the city of New York. When was the last time a single one of y'all took the time to actually find out his address, find out where he stays, to go meet up with this guy. When? You see, the only time these Negroes are going to get tough with anybody is when it comes down to trying to fight another black person. This is what they do. This is another reason why, when these niggas running around talking about Black Lives Matter, I don't take y'all seriously. Because at this point in time, it's a fucking joke. And when I took that walk through various different black communities last Saturday, it was actually a microcosm to what you will see in countless other black communities. You will not find these Negroes actually congregating to actually improve their situation. You will not find them doing that. Just like all of these Negroes who ran around talking about they were pro-black years ago and how I would call them out, and you look at what the fuck are you doing? Y'all are sitting around on live streams, getting high, talking about fucking bitches, stupid shit. But yet at the same time, these are the same Negroes running around talking about Black Lives Matter. Which is also another reason why, when you listen to these Negroes, you just look at their mindset, you know they're not about nothing serious. All they are is about personal gratification. This is what it really boils down to. Which is also another reason why when these Negroes are running around talking about reparations for black people, they're only talking about it from a perspective. They're not talking about nothing of tangible substance, tangible resources, something that's going to produce generational wealth for generations to come. They're not talking about that. What these Negroes really want is a personal check dispersed to them or deposited into their bank account. That's what they're looking for. Because if a single one of these Negroes is serious when it comes down to reparations, and at least I've never heard them say this when they come up to a politician, when they talk about reparations, because it really is simple to shut down many arguments, especially when it comes down to these damn politicians. If you're going to talk about reparations, then the first thing I'm going to start with is, listen, man, what about that Black Wall Street that y'all burnt down back in the 1920s when y'all seen that black people actually were getting their shit together? What about those black-owned businesses that y'all destroyed in the process when y'all destroyed those Black Wall Streets? And at least I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I stand to be corrected. But I do not hear these Negroes, when they present reparations to a politician on this magnitude, what they're really talking about is having a personal check dispensed or directly deposited into their bank accounts. Now, allow me to say this. If you want to send me a personal check or give me a direct deposit of a large lump sum of money in addition to rebuilding the same shit that you destroyed years ago, damn near 100 years ago, listen, I ain't got a problem with that. I'm cool with that. We can do that all damn day, every day. But if not anything else, I at least want to see the very same things that at one point in time actually helped to build a black community. I want to see that structure put back in place. I want to see black-owned schools ran by black people, teaching tangible curriculums. That's what I want to see. But you notice now, when it comes down to reparations, at least from what I've seen, once again, I might stand to be corrected, but I don't see these Negroes speaking about it from this perspective, because all they really want is a personal check directly deposited into their bank accounts. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm just surprised that white people should have done this shit a long damn time ago, because they'd have had their money back a long damn time ago, because we know where you Negroes are at. You Negroes are not about nothing tangible. This is another reason why when you go to any black community, you will find these Negroes staggering around, smoking weed and getting high. The funny thing is, if I go ahead and I point this shit out, or had I made a video showcasing this shit, I would have had Negroes coming to my channel getting pissed off at me. You know, I made videos back in 2014. And I was in Manhattan. I took a walk on 115th Street. And I was just simply showcasing all of the churches that were in the damn neighborhood that served absolutely no goddamn purpose. Furthermore, I showcased a building, an apartment building complex that had recently been renovated, that at one point in time were owned by black people. And I explained how this development actually fell out of their hands. And when I simply explained this, what I had were Negroes who were coming to my comment thread. What was the relevance of making this video? Calling me a black buffoon, calling me a coon, asking stupid fucking questions. Negro, the video is self-explanatory. But yet at the same time, they will come along and ask me, what's the relevance of this fucking video? And I'm like, oh, nigga, are you fucking serious? I mean, I'm explaining it, you know what? Let me not even go into that. What I should have done was actually take a walk around the block. Excuse me. What I should have done was take a walk around that damn block. Because that block I was on was 115th Street. The block directly around the corner on the south side was 114th Street. Now, anybody who, and this is between 7th and 8th Avenue, anybody who's familiar with that area knows at one point in time that was a drug block. And I believe it was about 10 years ago or more, that block got shut down. It was a huge raid that took place. Cops came and raided the place. A whole bunch of those buildings were condemned. They were boarded off. No one could go in there. They couldn't be occupied. As a matter of fact, there was a point in time where you couldn't even enter that goddamn block without being stopped by police officers. So at some point or another, they decided to start fixing the place up. And this is roughly around that same time when I was actually showcasing those properties that had been renovated and had people living in luxury apartment buildings now, which were once rundown buildings. Now, the funny thing is when I would take a drive down 114th Street, now, if you're going on that block, you're going to be heading east because it's a one-way street, okay? So heading east on your right-hand side, what you would see or would have seen at that time was a bunch of construction workers bringing in materials. You would have heard a bunch of tools and whatnot clanking and banging because what they were doing, they were fixing the place up. Directly on the left-hand side, across that street, immediately across the street, what you would have seen at that time if you simply took a walk through that area were a group of Negroes just standing around looking stupid as the world, as their environment changes right before their very eyes. And you would figure, these Negroes would figure, okay, they're not fixing this shit up for us. They're not doing this so our black asses can reside back over here. No, the minute this is fixed up, guess who's getting the fuck out? That's your black ass. So when I'm trying to explain this in a video and I got Negroes coming to me talking about what is the relevance of the video, and you can't see the bigger picture of what I'm talking about, then listen, man, there's nothing to talk about. Reparations, man, get the fuck out of here. No, ain't nobody going to listen to your black ass at this point in time. Because if you can't grasp simple information, then there's nothing else that can be said. I mean, this is what was taking place. And like I said, the Negro is standing around watching everything change right in front of his eyes. And he doesn't see nothing wrong with this. He's looking at this is a good thing. And it's not, the thing is, it's not black people who are fixing this up and saying, you know, let's get together and let's get our shit right and let's fix up our fucking community. It's not black people who are doing this. Likewise, just like a couple of weeks ago, I sat back and watched a video that another YouTuber produced about the city of Baltimore. Here you have the city of Baltimore, where you have Elijah Shitstain, who has spent more time caping for immigrants and Hispanics, illegal immigrants. This is what he's doing. His own city looks like fucking shit. Anybody who knows, who lives there, knows this. And my whole perspective is simple. If your shit ain't straight, you ain't got no business trying to fight for somebody else's shit. I mean, first of all, you as a black man shouldn't be caping for other goddamn people who don't cape for you in the first place. But most importantly, if your shit ain't together, then you ain't got no business caping for other groups of the damn people. But yet you find this shit stain sitting his black ass in Congress talking about we're a better country than it is. Shut the fuck up. You're an embarrassment to black people. Go sit your old ass down somewhere and resign. People are sick of looking at you. But this is where we're at in 2019. And from what I understand, this buck dancing, stepping fetch ass Negro has been in politics or has been running Baltimore for over 30 years. And nobody is taking the liberty to put his black ass out. Dude, you're a fucking failure. Get the hell out of here. But this is what we're dealing with in 2019. But that has nothing to do with what I'm stating with the video that I looked at a couple of weeks ago. Because it then becomes more understandable on how a shitstain like Elijah Shitstain can reside or run that city for as long as he has in the first place. Because in this video, what you had were a bunch of white people who were staunch Trump supporters, who were, many of them from various different states and cities, decided, hey, let's just come together and let's try to get this place cleaned up. Let's put our own money together. Let's buy dumpsters. Let's get the furniture that's in these alleyways. Let's try to get this shit cleaned up. Who were coming in there and putting their own resources together to get that city cleaned up. Now that's bad enough in itself, because what that shows is you've been showing up, Negro. They done showed your black ass up. That's what the fuck just happened right there. But like I just said, just like back on 114th Street a couple of years ago when they were fixing that place up, of course the Negro don't reside over there now, when they got a Starbucks across the street and outdoor restaurants right on that main strip on on 8th Avenue. The Negro's black ass didn't get it then, and the Negro's black ass most certainly doesn't get it now. Because as he's watching white people show up into his neck of the woods doing what his black ass should have done years ago, instead of him having a problem with this, instead of him trying to rally his people and say, man, listen, we can't have other people coming in here and cleaning up house for us. We can't do this. This makes us look bad. No, the Negro, you look at this decrepit old black ass and he's sitting around talking about, oh man, this is a good thing. It's about time somebody came here and did this. This was long overdue. Man, sit your black ass down. See, now it becomes more understandable on how an Elijah Shitstain can remain in the position that he's been in, which is, I mean, when you look at him, he's a blatant fucking failure. There's no other way you can say this. It becomes understandable on how he can remain in that position that he's been in for years at a time. It becomes understandable on how a failing black church, or churches, with these buck dancing, step and fetch ass pastors can remain in power the way they have for all these goddamn years, even though they have produced nothing of tangible substance in your community since the time they've been there. It becomes more self-explanatory, because if you Negroes are under the impression that somehow it is a good look that other groups of people come in and clean up your fucking community, we can't even talk about reparations. I mean, are you niggas serious? Reparations? I mean, look at black people as a fucking collective. You fucking serious? What? I mean, and then you Negroes sit here and y'all wonder why they would rather give reparations to LGBTQ members before they would give it to your black ass. I mean, this is where we're at. They would rather give reparations to a bunch of men who are running around trying to be women before they would give it to your black ass. I mean, are you fucking serious? This is where we're at in 2019. At what point in time do you start to see the fucking forest for what it is? At what point in time do you understand that you're standing in the middle of a fucking train track with a speeding train coming down and barreling at your black ass? When do you see this? When does this make sense? So this is what we're dealing with in 2019. The Negro he doesn't understand optics, like I've been told you. The Negro will see somebody else coming in and cleaning up his house, cleaning up the community. Oh man, it's a good thing, because this is how he thinks. He thinks somebody's supposed to take care of his black ass, and that's just not the way life works. But actually, I'm glad that I decided to wait before making this video. Because in the process of waiting to make this video, I came across something else that I found, which just lets me know right now that you Negroes aren't getting no reparations. It's not happening for you. It's not. I mean, the vast majority of black people are too far gone. There's nothing you can do with them at this point in time. Because you have Negroes who are running around under the impression that they are entitled to reparations. And yet, what we are seeing right now is that black people, black men, are followers. They lack leadership capabilities. They don't care to acquire leadership capabilities. They want to jump and get on board with every goofy, silly-ass trend that there is. It just once again ties in and lets you know that black people are not serious about nothing. They're not. And the funny thing is how quick this Negro is to jump on board with trends and be involved with foolishness. It speaks fucking volumes. But let me just put a pause on this for a second. Because, well, maybe no. Let me go ahead and say this. But no, I will put a pause on it. Because what I want to reference or touch base on is something that David Carroll mentioned, is how you have black people who will not go ahead and who will buy fried chicken from some foreign-owned shop, from some Korean-owned shop, rather than support a black woman who makes fried chicken. And this is something that it really is baffling when you think about it, because at this point in time, it's like I mentioned with the Negroes who are quick to get tough with one another, but they won't get tough with those who are actually harming them. And the funny thing is, I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was in a store, and you had this young black man who's working the cash register. And I think with just the proper guidance, with proper leadership, with somebody to school him on things, I think he can. I see potential in this young brother. Maybe I'm wrong, but I see potential in him. But I get in there and I'm waiting to order my meal, or I think I ordered my meal. And you got two of these older Negroes. You can tell these are church-going Negroes, one black female and one black male. The female is ordering ice cream, a pint or whatever it was. So as he's taking her order, this Negro behind her is talking about he wants the same thing. But the last time I checked, you're supposed to take one person's order at a time. So this young brother makes a mistake and brings her a scoop of ice cream that's smaller than what she initially asked for. So she starts going off about it, making the scene, blah, blah, blah. How could you mess up a pint and this, that, all this bullshit. Then the Negro male, he decides to get his black ass involved. How could you screw this up? But yada, yada, yada. Now, this guy looks to be in his late teens, early 20s. No older than probably 21 years old. And I'm looking at the two of these washed up Negroes. The two of these fuck niggas. Sitting here going in on this fucking kid. On a fucking kid. Who was employed by some Arabic. And from what I've seen time and time again, that Arabic has employed many black people. Which is something that black people themselves should be able to do, is employ our own kind. But that's obviously not happening. So these Negroes are sitting here, how can you screw this up, and yada, yada, yada. So I stepped up and I said, man, listen, man, y'all need to chill the fuck out. I said, first of all, you dude, you're supposed to wait. Because now you talk about, I'll get you shut down and this and that. Nigga, you ain't finna to do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. All right, so just stop the fucking talk. You don't have no weight around here any fucking way. I mean, you couldn't even employ this young brother, let alone get the place shut down. So what the fuck are you talking about, man? Sit your rusty ass down somewhere. But I didn't say that to him, but I let him know, man, listen, man, y'all look ridiculous. Y'all look ridiculous, the two of you. And y'all wonder why the youth does not thrive. Because they have nobody to look up to. They can't look to you older, dusty ass niggas, because that's exactly what y'all are, a bunch of fuck niggas. You have nothing to offer. The only time you finna get loud is when it's with another black man. This is the only time you're gonna get aggressive, because I guarantee you, had that been a white boy behind that counter, y'all wouldn't have said shit. Had that been that Arabic man behind that counter, y'all would have handled that in a completely different manner. And instead of having some words of wisdom for this young brother, instead of saying, we got better opportunities that we can offer you rather than you being employed by this guy, we'd rather see you employed by our own. No, the first thing y'all want to do is sit there and make a goddamn scene. This is what it is when it comes down to black people, because y'all are tough with one another, just like them two Negroes who are willing to meet up in cities to get aggressive with one another. Just like all of these Negroes who you will see dropping dots on one another online, but will not go after a single one of these white people who inflict harm on their black asses every single day. Not a single one of them will lay hands on these people. As a matter of fact, these motherfuckers can walk right there. Listen, I don't know why George Zimmerman doesn't reside in the black community. Because you niggas ain't finna to do anything to him any goddamn way. You're probably gonna run around asking for his fucking autograph, because this is how y'all are. At the end of the damn day, what we're really seeing is where black people really lie. Now, when it comes down to black-owned businesses, I've supported and I continue to support black-owned businesses. Why? Because I'm not going to sit here and talk a bunch of bullshit. I don't talk pro-blackness. I don't talk all this blackity-black bullshit. No, I try to put my money to where it is important. This is what I do. So when I want to go ahead and get a meal, I tend to support black businesses. Now, every now and then, it's not often you're going to find black businesses, so sometimes you can't always do it. But as often as I can, I do. And I'll tell you the experiences that I've encountered dealing with black-owned businesses. In many cases, I've had some pretty bad experiences. I just hate to say it that way, but I've had some bad fucking experiences. I go to a black-owned business. It's typically ran by women. I get in there to place my order. In many cases, these women just have this dead blank stare on their face, like they just they don't even want to be bothered. All right, give you a nasty look, or in certain cases, suck their fucking teeth at you. The customer service isn't the best. In one case in particular, I go to this chicken spot, which I see nothing but black people working there. So I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong. I'm assuming that it might just happen to be a black-owned business. Now, this might have been sometime late last year or early this year. I said, let me walk in and check out this chicken spot. And don't get me wrong, they make some good food there, some good chicken. But the first time I get in there, I go to the counter to get ready to place my order. And of course, you got a black female standing at this cash register. The whole time, from the moment I walked into that store to the time I left, she was standing there talking on her cell phone. On her fucking cell phone. Not placing an order, not talking to management, or maybe trying to find a way to get the cash register fixed or whatever. None of the above. She's just standing there having a personal conversation, probably with some Negro that she's sucking and fucking. This is what she's doing. I stand there about 2 or 3 minutes waiting to see if she's going to get off that goddamn phone. And I eventually got tired and I walked out the damn store. I left. Fuck that. A couple of weeks later, I said, let me try this again. So I bought food out of there maybe 2 times since that time. But then there was one other time when I came in there to purchase food. And of course, you got the black female. Not the same one, but somebody else. I go there and I place my order. All right? Pay for the food, and then I say, can I use the bathroom? I go to the restroom, and I just want to wash my hands. Nothing else. I'm going to be in and out in 2 seconds. Throw some soap and water on my hands, dry my hands, and get the hell out of there. I don't want to eat with dirty hands. I'm taking a lunch break off of work, so I want to wash my hands before I sit down and eat. After washing my hands, I go to open the door to get out. Come to find out the door won't open. So I realize, okay, I'm locked in this damn bathroom. How the fuck can this be? This shit has never happened to me a day in my life. To be locked in a public bathroom. I don't think I've ever been locked in any fucking bathroom. But I was literally locked inside of a public bathroom. You go figure this shit out. They had to buzz me out of this bathroom. So they knew that the buzzer didn't work. They knew this. So I come outside, I'm pissed off. I'm livid. I said, you know what? Cancel my order. I want my money back. So now the manager comes out there. There's a black man. Well, can you just take it easy? Take it easy. I said, no. I want my money back. But listen, just try to understand me. No, I'm not understanding. I'm not wasting my time understanding anybody or anything. The only thing I'm going to understand is I want my money back. That shit is unacceptable for me to be locked inside of a public bathroom. That has never happened to me before a day in my life. So what he says to me is, the young lady just forgot to put the sign up. So wait a fucking minute. Hold up. So this airhead that took my order, and I didn't say this, but this is what I'm thinking. This airhead who took my order just a little while ago, you mean to tell me was standing here all this fucking time and forgot to put up a goddamn sign? If I'm not mistaken, I believe she buzzed me into that bathroom. I've never seen a situation where you had to be buzzed out of a bathroom. I've never witnessed this. This is all new to me. So once again, understand the experiences that you get when you deal with black-owned restaurants or black-owned franchises. And in many cases, what you have is a bunch of airhead females running the goddamn place and some goofy-ass, simp-ass manager, some black male running the fucking place. And since you too big of a fucking simp to check these goddamn bitches and put your foot in their fucking asses when they need it, you sit back and you allow shit like this to go on and cause your franchise to be ran into the goddamn ground. Because had I been the manager and some shit like that happened, you know what? Pick your stuff up, pack your stuff up, you're going home. You're done. You're fired. Done. Finished. I told you a while ago to put a sign up on that damn door. You didn't do it. Now, if you couldn't have done it, you should have let me know. I'd have had somebody else do it. I'd have done it myself. Or if there wasn't any paper, if you didn't have the means to get it done, you should have contacted somebody. Now, if I didn't hear none of the above, you're fucking fired. Because we cannot have people coming in here getting stuck in damn bathrooms. We cannot have this with customers under any means necessary. So you're fucking fired. Likewise, with a few weeks or a couple of months prior to that shit, when that bimbo was sitting there on her damn phone, somebody should have walked up to her, packed your shit up, you're fucking fired. Get the hell out of here. Because I have never gone into any establishment where I have seen somebody standing on a phone at a cash register having a personal conversation. I've never witnessed this. You go to the Chinese restaurant, you don't see this shit. You see them on the phone, they're taking somebody's order. That's the only reason why they're on the goddamn phone. If you have to have a personal conversation, then what you do is you step away from the cash register, you have somebody come and relieve you, and then you go ahead and you handle your goddamn business. Not the black female. She's gonna sit there and have her conversation. And yet when it comes down to these black males who lack the ability to check these females, they sit back and allow this shit to go on. This is what actually takes place. And I have witnessed this on a couple of different occasions. Years ago, we're talking about back in 2008, 2007, sometime around then, I go into a PC Richards. And you got a black female sitting at the teller's register when it comes down to the electronics. I have to ask a single, simple question about a laptop. Just one question. I'm not here to give nobody attitude. I just want to know something. And if you don't have the answer, that's understandable, but can you direct me to somebody who does? That's my whole stance. But from the time I asked this bitch a single question, she starts copping a fucking attitude, making a whole fucking scene. And of course, once again, you got some simp-ass, Captain Save-A-Ho-ass Negro who was her manager. And instead of him checking her black ass and telling her, man, listen, pack your shit up, get the fuck out right now. You don't talk to customers like that. You must be out your fucking mind thinking you're going to come in here and speak to a damn customer that way. You check that bullshit at home. No, what this simp-ass Negro does, sir, just don't, just take it easy, sir. She doesn't mean it. Oh, you were that big of a fucking simp, huh? Well, you can't check this goddamn female. And that's just the mindset of black females, let alone the mindset of black males. And that just shows you how they lack leadership ability. Because in a situation like that, you check her. You don't let shit like that slide and just let it be swept under the goddamn rug. Likewise with another experience I had at a black church back when I was 16 years old, which is one of many reasons why I don't fuck with these goddamn churches. How I could go into one of these churches and have one of these black bimbos damn near try to get me into a fight with the other damn teenagers in the goddamn church. I'm talking about an older fucking female who was old enough to be my goddamn mother. Got a son my fucking age. And since she want to be all up in my damn business, I want to tell her, listen, I'm not trying to tell you what my business is. Now all of a sudden you got a problem and you want to cause fucking riffraff in the damn church. And when that pastor shows up, instead of him checking her black ass, what he does is he plays the typical Captain Save-A-Ho spineless simp ass role. Oh, just stick around and have some pizza with us. Everything will be fine. Man, fuck you. Get out my goddamn face. If you ain't gonna check this goddamn bitch, I ain't got no reason to stay. That's like you don't even got control over what the hell goes on in your goddamn establishment. This is what this showcases. Once again, showcasing a mindset of black men, their lack of leadership, their lack of maintaining control and order. They don't have no ability to do this. This is how you have these women running around, running all over these simp ass niggas. Because this is how y'all are. Weak ass, soft, milquetoast, biscuit made. This is what y'all are. So when you niggas run around to, we want reparations, man, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. Y'all are fucking ridiculous. Y'all make no goddamn sense. Saddest thing is this. The saddest thing is this. I've been to other establishments. I've been to white establishments, and I do understand that there is racism in this country. I do acknowledge that. But when you go to many of their establishments, they treat you like they want to see you. Oh, hey, how's it going, buddy? I'm all right, man. I'm looking for something to eat. I'm a big man, so I need a meal that's going to fill me. Or try our delicious chicken steak or Philly cheesesteak. Come back around sometime. They treat you like a fucking king. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not even asking for all this shit. I'm not even asking for this when I go into a black establishment, but I want to be treated fair. I want to be treated with some damn respect. You go into a black establishment, and this is the next thing I've experienced. Oh my God, this shit, boy, I tell you, you know, you want to support black-owned businesses, but it's very tempting to just walk the fuck away, man. Seriously. The one thing about me is I don't like spicy fucking food. Don't like it. Now, mild, I will stand it. I don't like spicy food. Now, I've gone to African places and I've gone to West Indian places. I like eating their foods. However, I do not like spicy shit. So I find myself trying to get stewed chicken out of the West Indian spot. Come to find out, they make some pretty goddamn good stewed chicken. So I'm like, okay, I can do this on a regular basis. This food is good. It's not that expensive. I can go ahead and I can buy this on a regular basis. I can support this. Then, for whatever reason, these Negroes decide to put extra spice on their stewed chicken. Now, spicy food will tear your fucking stomach up. It will have you shitting bricks sporadically throughout the damn day. And with me, it doesn't affect me right then and there. It'll take effect with me the next damn day when I'm at work, when I don't have access to a bathroom because of the line of work that I do. When I'm on the road for hours at a fucking time and your stomach is acting crazy on you because these damn West Indians decided to put so much fucking spice in their damn food that it got your damn tongue burning. I mean, what the fuck is up with you damn Negroes in 2019? But this is where y'all are at. Because when you conduct business, you don't stop to think, how do I get a large collective of people of all ethnicities and backgrounds to support my business? No, they want to go ahead and throw all kinds of spices if they were making this meal personally for their damn selves. It is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life, and likewise with Africans. You buy some of their goddamn food, it'll have your mouth on fucking fire. And you're like, goddamn Negro, I mean, must you make this shit so fucking spicy, man? Shit. What the fuck is up with y'all? Okay. Now, let me get back to the point I wanted to make earlier. I mean, these are just some of the experiences I've seen when it comes down to black-owned businesses. And I will say this much. I would advise many of you who want to establish businesses, who want to have restaurants and places that people patronize, I would advise you to go to these other places and take a look at their customer service and start taking down mental notes on how they do things and how you can use what's applicable or what could actually benefit your business. So when people come to your business, you don't have a bunch of stank-ass females staring around at them looking at them stupid. Now, if you're going to hire them, that's fine. But you ain't going to come here and bring my business, run my business into the fucking ground. You're not going to do that. So if you're going to treat customers poorly, then you ain't going to have a job here. That's how that's going to work. Now, if you can be respectful, if you can be courteous, if you can be kind, warm, and make them want to come back and spend some money here, because that's the whole goal, then fine, you got a job. But you're not going to come here acting stank. Leave your personal problems at home. But this is what it is when it comes down to this Negro. Now, let me get back into the point I wanted to make just a little while ago. I'm actually glad that it took me this long to go ahead and produce this video. Because throughout the course of observing, what I come across was something else that was just... it just, I mean... it explains and it sums up the mind frame of black people. Because here you have the Negro in 2019. And Popeyes just released a new spicy chicken sandwich. And you have Negroes left and right who have made review videos giving Popeyes billions in free advertisements. This is what they have done. It's to the point where the Negroes are out making review videos. They're going out and they're patronizing Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, and Wendy's. This is what the Negroes are doing. And you will predominantly find black people making videos about this spicy chicken sandwich. Now, it's one thing if you just so happen to go to Popeyes, you wanted to grab you something real quick. Because, I stop in there every now and then. I ain't going to lie. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit down on a line for hours at a time at a drive-thru waiting to get this goddamn sandwich. It's just not fucking happening. I'll be damned if you're going to find my black ass sitting on YouTube making a fucking review video on a spicy chicken sandwich produced by a goddamn fast food franchise. I mean, are you Negro serious? And a franchise which is not even black owned, by the way. I mean, this is what we're dealing with in 2019. The Negro he wants nothing of tangible substance. Nothing. He wants short-term gratification, and this is what we're dealing with. So when people say, nah, we're not going to give your black ass reparations, and you know what, it's fucked up as it sounds, I'm not going to argue that, because the majority of y'all are too goddamn stupid to know how to obtain it. Your priorities are fucked up. This is what it is when it comes down to most of you. I mean, you got Negroes, and I've sat back and I've watched a plethora of videos of Negroes lined up at drive-thrus, waiting for hours at a time. I mean, there was one video where some Negro was climbing through the drive-thru window about to fight the person who was placing the order because they were sold out of this spicy chicken sandwich. This is what it is with y'all. Just like when it comes down to a newest pair of Air Jordan tennis shoes that are coming out, you Negroes are lined up outside, lined up around blocks to get a fucking pair of sneakers. I mean, this is what y'all do. This is the stupid shit y'all are on. And that y'all have been on for how many goddamn years. Just like, what was it last year? That Asian guy, that Korean guy, whatever he was, punched that black woman right in the mouth in front of her children. In front of her fucking children, and most certainly in front of you goddamn niggas. And I'll be damned if not only a few days later, all it took was him dropping the price down to 50%, and you dumbasses were lined, you bimbos were out there lined up, waiting to go purchase this fake ass fucking hair. I mean, this is where black people are at in 2019, 2018. That y'all will patronize people who will take your money and whip your motherfucking ass. I mean, this is where y'all are at. It is some of the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen. And yet you have with this spicy chicken sandwich. And in certain cases, when you got black people making YouTube videos stating, hey man, listen, this is a problem that y'all sitting around here going crazy over this fucking sandwich, doing review videos over this fucking sandwich. Some of y'all which call yourself pro-black, doing review videos on this goddamn sandwich, and yet in the chat room, it is the Negro's black ass. After looking at the live stream and knowing that the live stream is against this chicken sandwich, they're not here to patronize it. And yet the Negro's black ass will show up in the goddamn comment thread of the live stream, but that spicy chicken sandwich is something else though. This is where y'all are at. I mean, to sit back and look at the level of stupidity that resonates from this Negro, it is baffling. In 2019, he still doesn't get it, man. Doesn't get it. To the point where you got Negroes producing a plethora of videos based off of this fucking chicken sandwich. I'm gonna do a bite test. Oh, look at how the meat is on the Popeye sandwich. Look at how the chicken is there, the nice sauce. They got the nice cucumbers and pickles and onions. This is what the fucking Negro is talking about. I mean, what the fuck's up with you niggas, man? I mean, this is where y'all are at. Sitting here making videos based off of this stupidness. The funny thing is, it was about 5 years ago when I introduced a Popeye's chicken box in my video. And I had Negroes who were pissed off at me. Oh man, how could you have that Popeye's chicken in your video? And the thing is, the funny thing is this. The first video that I produced, I think that was the only video where I actually had chicken in that box. Where I had the buttery mashed potatoes, the milk biscuits, the watermelon, the Kool-Aid. I mean, this is like the only video I actually had that shit in. Because after a while, I knew you niggas were so fucking stupid. All I had to do was just put an empty box there, and you dumb niggas would sit back and fondle over that fucking box. This is what y'all focusing on. And this is how easy it was to bait you motherfuckers. Because y'all would sit there and hone in on an empty goddamn box. So all I do, I just go to Popeye and say, man, listen, I wouldn't even order nothing. Just give me a couple of empty boxes. Just give me about 5 or 6 empty boxes. And each time I produce a video, I'll place another box there. And the Negroes will live it. Oh man, did you see the way he poured that Kool-Aid? That was racist. This is what the Negroes are talking about. And I'll be damned if a few years later, you Negroes haven't proven my point. So I was actually right when I was mocking you Negroes the way I used to back in 2015, 2014. I was spot on with that shit. Because I'll be damned. But what is taking place now? These Negroes are sitting around making Popeyes billions. Billions. in advertisements. A franchise which is not even black owned. This is what these Negroes are finding. Y'all look so fucking stupid in 2019, sitting around making videos over this spicy chicken sandwich. I mean, are you niggas fucking serious? And y'all want to talk about reparations. Y'all got the audacity to talk about Black Lives Matter. I mean, you running around talking about Black Lives Matter, yet you sitting here making a review video on spicy chicken sandwiches produced by a non-black owned franchise. I mean, there's nothing else that can be done with you at this point in time. There ain't shit you can do with these Negroes in 2019. Stick a fork in them. They're done. Because what these Negroes are really looking for is they're looking for a reason to be trendy. They want to jump on board with trends. And once again, what this shows is the lack of leadership abilities that black men have. How they can't get their own house in order. This is why they're sitting around when a white man is coming through putting his money together to clean up their shit. Oh, this is a good thing. Because they lack that leadership mentality to say, you know what? We need to be the ones spearheading this charge. Black men don't possess that. This is why they're comfortable with somebody coming behind them and doing their fucking dirty work. And yet they wonder why they're in the predicament that they're in right now. You Negroes don't have any leadership abilities. You Negroes, what you're really looking for is self-gratification. You just want to be seen, which is another reason why when that Black Panther movie came out last year, you had Negroes showing up with bean pies and fried chicken and dashikis on to the premiere of this goddamn movie. I mean, this is the shit that you motherfuckers are on. It is so easy to fool you Negroes, to bamboozle you Negroes. People can lead you to a fucking slaughterhouse. And you're so goddamn stupid you can't even see it. You jump right on board with it. You'll jump on board because it's trendy, it's catchy, I can get hits and views. Oh man, look at how spicy the meat is, how tender it is, and the bread is nice and fluffy, and look at the nice pickles and onions and nice sauce they got. This is where the fucking Negro was at in 2019. Makes no goddamn sense, man. That this black ass can't think beyond this. I mean, it really, oh my God, wow. You see, y'all ain't about no heavy lifting. Y'all ain't about actually trying to get anything done. This also explains the mindset when I walked through various different black communities on Saturday. Why y'all were doing what y'all were doing. Staggering around, looking stupid, partying, and everything about y'all is entertainment. Nothing serious. The Negro want to be out there. I mean, this is what you're dealing with. Furthermore, I was sitting down and I was watching a video from one of these dating coaches. And he was holding a live stream. And you had the Negro call into his live stream. And this Negro was talking about how, when I see women I like, I just give them my card. My card has my information on it, my contact information where I can be reached, email, etc., etc. Okay. Immediately after that, the Negro follows that statement up with saying, well, right after I give them my card, I whisper in their ear all of the things that I want to do to them sexually. And yet, he would follow it up with a question asking this dating coach, but yet I've done this to over 30 women and only 2 responded to me. He can't figure this out. He can't figure this out. His black ass is so fucking lost that he cannot figure out why that is detrimental. I mean, listen, if you want to leave a female your card and keep it moving, contact me. My information is on there. If you ever want to chop it up or, kick it someday or whatever, fine. Leave her your card. Keep it moving. I'm all for that. It alleviates the bullshit, and now the ball is in her court. So if she's serious, she's going to contact you. But now, to follow it up and tell her all of the things that you want to do to her sexually. I mean, here we are, living in the era of the Me Too movement. in which they stated that a black man, be it Bill Cosby, was the first one to go down in the history of the Me Too movement. So a billionaire wasn't able to protect or keep himself safe from getting locked up within this damn movement. Here you have some random Negro who thinks it is a wise decision. I mean, the funny thing is, I've been in various different career paths ever since I've left that superintendent gig. And each one of those career paths give a training seminar on sexual harassment. The sexual harassment, which they'll tell you, even saying certain things now can get you caught up if you say it to a woman. They have something which is called elevator eyes, meaning if you look at a woman up and down, that can be considered sexual harassment. The Me Too movement, which was a movement which was geared for black men, and which has been most successful at targeting black men. Now, white women try to co-opt it and try to go after some of these white men, and we've seen that they have failed miserably. That has backfired on them. But now, black men, on the other hand, we see that it has had no problem, none whatsoever, getting black men locked up. And throughout the course of this Me Too movement, you figure the Negro's black ass will be the last one to walk up to random strangers, not women that he has have been with sexually, or no, we're talking about random strangers, and thinks that somehow it is a wise decision to whisper in the ears of women that he does not know how he wants to fuck them sexually, all the things he wants to do to them in the bedroom. See, he can't figure this shit out. And he can't figure out how this can lead to his very own detriment. This is where black men are as a collective in 2019. You can get black men in a huddle, in a public auditorium, or some atrium to sit down and listen to some other dude tell them how you can meet the 7 stages of having sex before having sex. This is what you can get black men to come together for. They will not come together when it comes down to congregating amongst building their community, amongst taking control over the resources in their community, establishing the economics in it. You cannot get these Negroes together when it comes down to this, but you can get them together when it comes down to how you can have sex with multiple women in a day. This is where black men are at in 2019. Like I said, once again, lacking leadership abilities. These Negroes would rather pay somebody to teach them how you can go out here and have sex with women. Now, the funny thing is, when it comes down to this whole thing about having sex with women, at one point, what was consensual now becomes sexual harassment. Don't believe me? Ask Bill Cosby. And with all the wealth and resources that he had, if he could not keep himself from getting locked up, what makes you think that you, as less than a 6-figure man, is going to be able to keep yourself from going down that same road that he's on right now? You see, this is where black men are at. Black men do not understand optics. I've told y'all this before. This is also another reason why they have no problem when they see somebody say, yeah, that spicy chicken sandwich it sure is delicious. These Negroes have no problem being followers. Now, the funny thing is, when it comes down to this Popeye's chicken sandwich, you're not going to find white men sitting around making videos about this by large. You will not. You're not going to find the Asian man making videos of this sandwich by large. You might find a handful, 1 or 2 of them, and that's it. But you will find endless videos of this Negro making review videos on this goddamn spicy chicken sandwich. Why? Because the Negro does not understand optics. To understand the ability to be a leader, to showcase that you are not a follower, to showcase that you are not jumping on things just because they are trendy and catchy. No. You got to show that you're bigger than that. But the Negro can't do this because this is who he is. This is who they are, men and women. And this is another reason why you can't build anything off of this. Giving these motherfuckers reparations for what? What are you going to do with it? That money will be squandered as soon as it ends up right back in your hand. Excuse me. As soon as it gets placed in your hands, that money will be squandered off. Because this is where y'all are at as a goddamn collective. Now listen, one thing that David Carroll mentioned is in order to talk about reparations, you have to re-educate this Negro. Now, if we're talking about the Negro that we currently see today, there's only a handful of black people And I'm going to differentiate or distinguish them from the Negro. Because there's only a handful of black people that you actually have the potential to do something with. That will actually get it. That you can actually sit down and congregate with and talk about business strategies with. There's only a handful of black people that you can do this with. The majority of what you see right now, these Negroes that you see, these shucking and jiving Negroes, these stepping and fetching, buck dancing Negroes, cooning and buffooning for a slice of watermelon or a piece of Popeye's fried chicken, you can do essentially nothing with. There is no rebuilding that you can do to the mind feminist Negro. You cannot re-educate this Negro. So I disagree with David Carroll when it comes down to that, because there's nothing you can do with it. Nothing. It is kind of like, and maybe y'all might follow where I'm going with this here, because I'm not going to say it in direct terms, but maybe y'all might follow what I'm saying here. It's kind of like if you take a car, for instance, right? If the car, you might have a 20-year-old, 30-year-old car. Depending on the condition that it is in and what its life history has consisted of, will determine on whether that car is redeemable, whether you can still use that car. Now, let's just say the car has only been driven a handful of times, never been into any accidents. The owner just parked it in the garage one day and just left it there. Maybe he died and stayed in that garage or whatever the case is. That car is still usable. Let's say even if you're dealing with a car that might be that same age, maybe it had a few fender benders here and there, maybe a few dings and dents in it, but nothing major. Guess what? The car is still usable. Maybe it needs an overhaul. Maybe you need to tune up a few things, change some timing belts or whatever the case is, transmission or whatever, but the car is still redeemable. Now, if that car fell off of a bridge and landed into the bottom of a river, that car could have been purchased just yesterday. There's nothing else you can do with that car. If that car has been involved with a major collision and got totaled, being struck by an 18-wheeler tractor trailer, there's nothing else you can do with that car. If that car happened to stall out on you on a railroad track and got smashed by a speeding train, the car ended up a few miles down the track. That's how far the damn train drug the goddamn car before it came to a stop. Guess what? There is essentially nothing you can do with that car. Nothing. You can try to take it to the best mechanics. The mechanic's going to tell you, listen, there's nothing you can do with that car other than get a new one. There ain't shit you can do with it. You can contact your auto insurance company and say, hey man, listen, is there some miracle that you can work out for me here? And they're going to tell you there is absolutely nothing you can do with that vehicle. If any of the three things that I just mentioned have taken place to that vehicle, this is what they're going to tell you. The only thing we can do is cut you a check for what the value of the car was worth, and you can go from there. That is all they're going to do for you. You can try to find a mechanic who is a miracle worker and show him this totaled wreck, this wreckage of what used to be a car. And that mechanic's going to tell you, listen, there ain't nothing to work with here. I can't work this miracle. I might be a miracle worker, but that is even beyond my capabilities. There's nothing you can do with it. The only thing you can do with that car is lay it to rest. Scrap it. Get rid of it. There's nothing you can do with it. Likewise, in the boiler industry. Now, when I started working in this industry years ago, we're talking about fresh out of high school. I remember a few times I showed up with the main mechanic in some of these private brownstones or multiple dwellings of townhouses. And the landlord would state, and we're talking about little residential boilers, small boilers. The landlord would state, listen, when I came down here this morning, it was freezing now, but when I came down here this morning, this boiler was glowing cherry red. Now, what happened to that boiler, and we've seen this happen on a couple of different occasions, is that this is what was called a dry fire. A dry fire is when your boiler runs with no water inside of it, and you got flame heating up the sections of that boiler. That is the worst thing that can happen to your boiler. If that happens to your boiler, if the low water safety feature fails to shut that burner off, once that water level drops below a certain level, guess what? If you have a dry fire And most certainly, if you come in there and find that boiler glowing cherry red, there is essentially nothing you can do with that boiler. So of course the landlord would ask, hey man, I got to get heat back on in this house, in this building. The tenants are freezing, they're complaining. How quickly can I get the heat restored? How quickly can we get this boiler up and running? And we would look at him and tell him, listen man, you're not going to get this boiler up and running. There's nothing you can do for this boiler. This boiler is done for. Oh, but I just put it in 2 years ago. It's brand new. Don't matter. Done. Finished. You could have just purchased the goddamn thing yesterday and had it installed. If you came down here and seen this thing cherry red, there is absolutely nothing that you can do for this machine other than scrap it and we bring a new one and install it in here for you. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else you can do. Because this thing is essentially done for. Finished. The only thing you can do with this boiler is to lay it to rest. That's it. And that is exactly where we are at when it comes down to the mind frame of a large portion of this Negro in 2019. There is essentially nothing you can do that is going. There is no overhaul that is going to save his black ass. There is no rebuild that is going to restore his mindset. There is essentially nothing that you can do with this Negro other than to start over and build from scrap. That's it. You can. The majority of these niggas done for. Finished. There is absolutely nothing that you can do for them. I mean, when we're sitting around in 2019, after these goofy ass niggas have acknowledged that Black Lives Matter, have acknowledged that black people are facing systemic issues, and after acknowledging all this, yet and still here your black ass is. You would figure you'd be the last person. We're not talking about 1 or 2 black people here doing this. The majority of these videos in which you are going to find are being produced by black men. And in certain cases, black women. Which showcases the fact that y'all are followers. You're not about nothing serious. You just want to be seen and be noticed. This is what it is with y'all. This is why y'all will come out with a movement called Black Lives Matter. Y'all want to be seen and noticed. It's not about nothing serious. It's not about actually saving black lives. So once again, when I sit back and I look at this, I say, listen, there is essentially nothing that you can do with this Negro in 2019 but to start over from scratch. Now, once again, there is a solution when it comes down to starting over from scratch, but I dare not say it. And some of y'all might have gotten what it is that I really mean when I'm saying, listen, start over from scratch. You see, many of y'all want to talk about solutions. Just like I had Negroes come to me years ago talking about, what's the solution? What's the solution? Listen, you don't want to know what my solution is. There is a solution. But trust me, the solution that I'm talking about, you might not be able to sleep at night. The solution that I'm talking about, you're not going to be the same man when it's all said and done. Because at the end of the day, you really can't do much with the majority of what we're looking at. You just can't. And I refuse to sit around wasting my time trying to reason with madness or deal with people who cannot be re-educated, cannot be politically reorganized, none of the above. I refuse to have any doings with them, none whatsoever. That is just where I'm at with that. Now, many of y'all might say, well, for those of you who get what I'm saying when I speak in metaphorical terms, and that is through speaking of the car language and the boiler language, y'all know what I mean. That car went through any of those situations, it's time to lay that old dog down, put it to rest, that's it. That boiler dry fires, it's time to lay that machine to rest. It served its purpose, it's ran its last course, it's done for. There's nothing you can do with it. Okay? It is kind of like when you have a loved one, right? And they get into a horrific accident. They're in the hospital in critical condition. And the doctor tells you, okay, yeah, they're in a medically induced coma. Or coma, whatever the case is. And then when they finally come out of it, you think you got good news, and the doctor tells you, listen, we got news. Which one do you want to hear first? And your face starts to drop. The news is, and we don't know whether this is good or bad, so your loved one is alive. Okay? But the bad news is, your loved one is brain dead. All right? They're on life support. They're brain dead. They have permanent nerve damage done to their brain. That brain will never be restored. There is nothing that can be done for them. They will never come out of this. So if you decide to have them living, they're going to be living in suffrage. And it is at that point in time that you realize there's only one thing you can do. As much as you do not want to do it, as much as it might pain you to pull that plug, you realize at that point in time, there was only one thing you can do for your loved one. Because they are not going to come out of their condition. They're never going to get better. There's no amount of medical treatment that is going to help them and one day restore them back to who they once was. That is done for. Finished. Now, I've dealt with a situation similar to this. I'm not going to bring up no details, but I've dealt with a situation similar to this. So I know exactly what this is about. And it is at that point in time when you have to make that decision, the decision that you really don't want to make, but you know deep down in your heart of hearts, you really ain't got no choice. And that's exactly what we are dealing with when it comes down to the Negro in 2019. You are at a critical point where there is essentially nothing that could be done for you. There is no amount of re-education, no amount of anything that is going to change your mindset to make you into a functional individual. It's just nothing that's going to help you. The only thing you can do at this point in time is to close out and start fresh, which means you have to pull the goddamn plug. Now, I know that's harsh. I know many of you don't like that. But at the end of the goddamn day, shit is what it is. And that's all I got to say in this video. And I'll catch you on the flip side.